HMG Weekly Wrap-Up. Bringing you the latest headlines in the news, what you missed on the podcast, upcoming events, community updates, and stories spotlighting our community heroes. This is where the week gets wrapped up, HMG style. And now, here's your host, Mr. Adam Bird.
All right, what's up? Happy Friday, everybody. I know some of you think, why the intro? Because I can. It's my show. I like it. It's got that 80s, like, hairband kind of a vibe to it. You know what I mean? Now that I dated myself, not that any of you know. Anyway, happy Friday, everybody. Thank God it's Friday. I'm glad that it's here. It has been, it's been a week. Let me tell you, it has been a crazy, crazy week this week. A lot going on in the world. And if I'm being completely transparent, there's been a lot going on here with me. I'm going to be on the road here probably the next couple of weeks. And not all of it was planned, but I'm grateful. I'm learning to be grateful. I had a conversation earlier this week with a dear friend of mine, and he asked me a hard question that was hard for me to answer. Like, you know, when am I going to start giving myself some grace? And I took that to heart this week. I've got a very special guest lined up for you guys today. But before we bring this barrel-chested heathen on, I'm going to do what I always do and take a minute here and try to share this out. And if you are joining us, wherever you are in the old interweb lands, share it, because this guest that I'm bringing on, you're gonna want to listen to what he has to say. I've known this guy for going on 7 years now, and you know how you have people in your life that T-Dog, what's up, man? Appreciate you. You know how you have people in your life that you meet and you become friends, and then they become family. This guy is one of those people. Annette, how you doing? He is a retired U.S. Navy SEAL. He's a speaker. He is the co-host of the podcast called Pushing Back Chaos, and they've been on HMG. You guys have heard me talk about them before, but this is his first time on the HMG Weekly Wrap Up, and we're going to talk maybe a little bit about that, and we're going to get to know this guy a little bit. I'm honored to call him a brother. He's like a younger brother to me, but he's full of wisdom. So he's, I forget that he's much younger than me, but I love this guy to death. My brother Kris. Let me, if I can add you to the stage. There we go.
There he is. The walking Claymore himself. Look at that. That's the warning. If anybody ever needs it, I mean, that's the warning right there. Adam, my walking Claymore brother. That's it.
Yeah,
you just poke them and you never know what's coming out, but it's going everywhere. I love it.
Oh, what do we have? Darlene, hello. Go Navy. Darlene, that's okay.
Don't hate the other supporters.
That's for you, Kris. That's for you, obviously.
I know. No,
brother, how are you, man?
Brother, I'm so every day I wake up is such a good day. Just having that conversation earlier this week and then coming on to here in your invitation, I was very blessed that you even thought about it, and just being able to come on this morning. I woke up today. It's a good day to do it again, do it better. That's all I need. The rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, I love it. Joe, this is my buddy Joe's on. This is actually his shirt.
I like it.
Mopod. I love it. Joe, thank you. Kris, this has been a long time coming. I mean, you and I have known each other for a hot minute. You originally had, God, I can't even think of the first podcast now. It was
So it was originally called Not Your Average Operator, that we partnered with my friend Sergeant Patrick Sowers from Operation Once a Lifetime, the military charity. And it was kind of an extension, like an action arm of it, where it was like engaging with the veteran community, but everybody in general. And we kind of partnered up as we started out for about two years or so.
It was about 2 years, over 100 episodes, I believe.
Yeah, we were at 90. We did 90 episodes with that and talking about it. And then we kind of just took our own little direction and renamed it Pushing Back Chaos, which was not my idea. I'm not going to take credit, but it was our friend Raph, our mutual friend Raph, that came up with that idea. There's a lot of meaning to it.
Yeah, and you bring up Raph. That's actually how you and I had met, and I had met Raph through another mutual friend of ours. A shout out to Mr. James Boggs, aka Papa Bear, aka Jimmy Boggs. Got a chance to talk to him yesterday, so that was great. But yeah, so we had met through them, and that was seven years ago now.
That was 2020. Spring of 2020.
Okay, so we're coming up on it, and amazing time. But you weren't always known as Kris on the network.
No, and there's a reason for that. I guess I can explain just a little bit. So,
please,
coming to a open public platform, coming out of my community is it's not really accepted. It's not really a popular thing to do, and there's a lot of selfishness that's associated with that. So for years, when we were doing Not Your Average Operator and then into Pushing Back Chaos, my biggest thing of doing the show was I'm not going to show my face. I'm not going to use my real name because I didn't want that job or that attention. What was most important was the messages that we were talking about, the conversations, Adam, and you were part of it and you helped us start it. It was really about connection and helping people through hard times and giving some structure, some guidance, some mentorship from our experiences in our life, not just professionally, but personally. And, Melon and I, and when we started with RAF, I've never heard men speak like that in my life. I've been around a lot of tough dudes, but, when I hear Melon talk about how big and tough of a rugby player is and a pilot and two major pride and ego type field jobs, that had nothing to do with the day that, he would stop and talk about his wife battling cancer or his daughter Annie being born at 23 and a half weeks and standing over them or next to them, feeling powerless as a person. I don't hear men talk like that, especially big, tough dudes like that guy. And I said, there's something different here. And I want to be part of that. Like there was something pulling me to that conversation, to that guidance. And it had nothing to do with a job. So I put myself out as Mike on there as a cover. And I never used my picture or my last name because I didn't want that distraction or taking away from what we were talking about. And man, over the last couple of years, it's had a major impact on a lot of people. And it's like, that's clear. I know that.
That most certainly it has, for sure. Rich LaMonica, good morning to you. Ken, good morning, brother. Appreciate you. We got people over on the Instagram and some of the other. Good morning, everybody. Let me put it that way. And for those of you, Kris has mentioned Melon. Melon is he's in Australia. He's an Australian military veteran. And his family, I was blessed to have been able to meet them last time they were stateside. Amazing individual. His family, just all around good people. Absolutely loved the time that I got to spend with them as well. If you haven't heard what Kris has been talking about, and if you haven't listened to any other episodes, you can go to Apple, anywhere you listen to podcasts, look up Pushing Back Chaos, and you'll understand a little bit more. Listen to some of the episodes and follow them because you'll understand more about what Kris is talking about. I'm trying to figure out where else to begin here, Kris, because there's so much. I've obviously, you and I spent a lot of time offline, chatting, and you've met my family. you met my parents, one of my siblings, you met my wife. It's easy to say that you were part of the family, and I've got the privilege to watch you kind of grow over the years, and I'm very proud of you for what you've accomplished. And I think, one of the things that you kind of alluded to is your profession and what you're doing transitioning out of the military. You're kind of taking a different path than what people in that profession have ultimately have done. I think of what a lot of people see on social media and whatnot. Can you elaborate a little bit more on why you chose to take the path that you're taking and kind of explain that more?
Yeah, that's a very deep question. I'll try to keep it as short as possible with that, but I need to hit some major points with that to help people understand like what's going on here. Any type of profession that's high performance, high expectations, high stress, you're gone a lot, and it takes majority of your time, your energy, your body, everything. Dude, it's such a commitment, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm very proud that I got to be blessed and do it for 20 years. It was my childhood dream, and I got to live it, man. I have no regrets there. But what I'm pursuing and talking about and coming to is what happened outside of that uniform, or should I say inside of that uniform, that person that was going through things. And I see it even more now as I'm transitioning out. And there's, I'm in this group called the Honor Foundation. I'm graduating on Tuesday.
Nice.
And it's a phenomenal program. It's for all special operators and support, man. And number one, it's been great to get to know them on a personal level about their transition and hear their stories and what they've been through and why. But also it's like trying to figure out who they are again, their identity, their purpose. And we hear this all the time, not mostly from veterans, but anybody that transitions, whether you're a parent and go to an empty nester, which you now know about, right? With Christopher leaving and going and pursuing his dreams. It's like, dude, what do I do now? I used to be a dad and now I'm kind of part-time. And what do I do with that? Who am I? Dude, we struggle with that the same way. And I have these conversations weekly, if not daily, with teammates and other people, and I'm not going to name anybody, but it's a real thing that we don't talk about in that space, in that community.
Let me interrupt real quick. Kris, why is it not talked about in the community?
Well, I think that the common answer is it's a stigma, and I don't want to have my job affected, my security clearance, something like that, right? I've dealt with all of this, and it's not really true, and I can explain a little bit. But the other half of it, man, is this. We all put on a mask, especially men. Men in general, we don't talk about feelings. We don't talk about emotions or struggles. And then, oh, by the way, we're a military guy. So now we definitely don't. We have to always have this persona of, I'm a tough guy and I've been trained and, all these things. And then, oh, by the way, for me, I'm a special operator and I have to maintain a perfect standard and never talk about emotions, never talk about struggles, being broken, my relationships, the confusion going on in my head and my heart, if I'm spiraling, everything. I'm expected to show up and perform, period. And anything outside of that, you're being selfish and you're not thinking about the team in general. Okay. Not everybody's like that, but in general, that's the feeling. So I have to live up to not only my own expectations in my head, I have to live up to the military's expectations. And then I have to live up to my family's expectations. And then I have to live up to society's expectations because they view me and you expect to hear X, Y, and Z when I open my mouth just because I had a title for 20 years, a job. And it's like, well, would you go up and ask the janitor the same thing? Like introducing myself. Hey, what's up? I'm Kris. I'm this. I'm my job. Yeah. And it's like, do you ask a high school janitor the same thing and ask him about his career? No. Okay, well, that's an issue. So it really gets into identity and who we really are and what we're doing. But where does all this come from? A lot of pain, Adam.
Yeah.
A lot of pain, confusion, bottling up stuff, compartmentalizing. Every veteran knows about that. And it's like, what do we do with that? Where do we go? How do we do it? There's a lot of really great slogans out there of like, be better, be a man, figure it out, tough it out, push through, go to the gym, like all these vague things. To me, that meant nothing. That meant nothing. I'm around really tough guys, man, mentally, physically. And these guys have mental issues. I just learned yesterday I lost a teammate to the S word. And I'm like, why? It makes me so mad that we can't talk, that we can't get it. And what's missing, what Melon and I have really sat in and talked about, what's missing in this whole thing is, how do I get past this? Somebody come in and show me, teach me, spend time with me, mentor me, talk about it, be vulnerable. Your slogans mean nothing. I need your time, your mentorship, and meet me where I'm at.
Yeah.
And help bring me out of that. So that's kind of how this thing was born, and what we're doing and what we're talking about, man. Has nothing to do with tactics. I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I occasionally talk about some stories from combat or training because it's part of my life.
Yeah.
I can't just delete that and be like, well, I didn't learn anything for 20 years. I won't talk about it, because the realization, man, is everything that I've been through, negative and positive, was not just for me or Melon. It's for us to experience, to learn from, to sit in, and to share with other people, because we know we're not the only ones going through it.
Amen to that. Trish, good morning. Brian Gibson, hello, brother. Thank you. Pop, I see you there. Thank you. David Gordon, good friend of mine. Thank you. Appreciate you guys jumping on this morning. Kris, I want to say this. I've been out for a very, very long time, and the transition side of it is it getting better? One of the things, and I'm sorry about your friend, first and foremost. Let's recognize that first and foremost, because that bothers me that stuff like that still happens, and I take it personally. And it's like, you would think that our military would, especially, with all it, just as the military as a whole, but let's talk about specifically the special operations community. You would think, as much money as the government spends to train you guys and this and that, and you guys are the elite, the top of the top, the creme de la creme, you would think that they would have something for you guys as you come back to deal with stuff. That way you can get you operational again and do this, and get you back on your feet and like, hey, keep going. I don't know. To me, it always kind of blew my mind that there wasn't more being done to help the military person to overcome some of the things that they might be fighting. You know what I mean? We should talk about it. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. And I love the fact that you and Melon really dive into some of the episodes. Obviously, being the producer of the show, I get to listen to all the episodes that you guys have done over the years, and really having you guys kind of deep dive into and just taking a different approach from each of your guys' career fields and whatnot. But one of the things I like about the show is that although you're using your experiences, some of your experiences from the military side of it, you don't present it like that's where the experience is really coming from. And I think what makes the show so special is that you guys make it very easy for anyone that's listening to that, they can relate to it. Does that make sense?
No, it does. And that's what I find out more, the more we talk about it, that we're not that different. There's people that put us on a pedestal or some type of like aura. And I get it, because when I was a kid, I used to look at guys that did what I did, and I was like, man, that's freaking Superman right there, and they can deal with anything. But the more we talk about it, the more common it is. And the way I can convey it is, especially a lot of veterans listening here, and thank you all for what you've done in your service. And we all earned ribbons. We all earned a badge, a rank, a title, training, like all these different things. All that stuff is upstairs collecting dust on my wall right now. And it was man-made. It was put into, made from a factory. I'm not discouraging what it truly means, dude. I have a lot of honor and memories and respect for everything that I've worn and what I've done and been a part of. So I no negative, but what my point is when you got all that stuff on, did that sprinkle some magic fairy dust onto you where, oh, by the way, now you're untouchable from life?
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with certain hardship. You don't have to address relationship issues. You don't have to address mental health. You don't have to deal with spiritual battles that you're having on a whole nother battlefield that nobody ever taught you about that battle. Nobody gave you the tools to fight it, and you have no tactics to engage the enemy with. Right. And they're like, oh, yeah. And it's funny. We laugh as guys. We giggle. But it starts right there. Why is that funny? It's not funny. It's a very serious thing that's real, and it's happening. And the more time Melon and I have spent there and done some deep reconnaissance on our own past and who we are and where we were at during that, and looking at what we're currently going through, it's like, okay, dude, I think we could really take some similarities here and explain it in a way that whether you're a veteran or not, if you're a human being, it's going to resonate with you, because I'm speaking as a human, man. I'm not speaking as my rank, as my job, as my experience. Take that off. And by the way, it's going to come off when you get out, or if you have get out. That was always going to happen. Like there was no stopping that. But what we're focusing on is the internal of who you are. And there's an old quote, and I'll just finish up this point. I was a teenager. I was in this program called the U.S. Naval Sea Cadets, man, and it was one of the best programs. I met Medal of Honor recipients, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, amazing experiences throughout that time. And one of the trainings I went to, one of the guys, he said, I don't want to get it wrong. The man doesn't make, or I'm sorry, the uniform doesn't make the man makes the uniform. And what that means is whether you had that uniform or not, there was something that attracted you to that uniform, which was probably some type of service, helping, some type of selfless characteristics that you already had in yourself that you found in that job, and then became, it became your external showing of the American flag, the ribbons, the badges, the ranks, the service, the image of the military.
Yeah.
And then when it goes away, it's like, oh, I lost that. It's like, no, you never lost that. You still have yourself. You're just transitioning to using it into another field or into your family or in your friends. And that's where we really spent the most time with pushing back chaos, because all of that I just talked about is chaos. The world, there's bombardment every day, and expectations and struggles and life and everything that happens, man, and responsibilities. If we don't have structure, if we don't have understanding, if we don't have communication, it's going to eat us alive. And we see that every day.
How has your transition been? You kind of alluded to it. It could be a part of a program, but how overall as you're transitioning, how's it been? Positive? It's
been positive for me. Am I nervous and all that? Yes, of course I am. Like I'm human, man. I'm not special. But
well, hold on. Let me interrupt you right there, because I love the fact that you said you're human and that you're nervous about it. Is there anything specific that you're nervous about as you're transitioning?
Sure, the unknown. Yeah. The unknown should always get you nervous, but it's how you define the nervousness. It's a blessing to be nervous. Imagine if you just sat on your couch every day and had nothing to look forward to. You wouldn't be nervous, but you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Wow.
Everybody that joined the military in particular, we joined and we did stuff, and we worked out. We went through challenges and tests, and it sucked at times, and other times, some of the best times were when it sucked the worst. But we remember that, we feel that because we were growing, we were learning about ourselves, we were becoming better versions. This is no different. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what job's coming. I don't know who I'm going to meet. I don't know what training's going to look like. I don't know what I'm going to look like. Do good. That's the blessing of, you get to wake up and be nervous in a good way, because there's new things coming. There's new people, new opportunities, and you can't control any of it most of the time. I always love if you want to hear a good joke, tell God your plan.
Yeah.
No, it ain't going to work out like that.
Yeah.
But what you can control is who you show up as every day. And this is a big thing that we talk about. I always bring up the 4 pillars that I've learned the last couple of years of the leader, the warrior, the mentor, friend. That's Kris internally. You can take my job, my money, my house, my car, everything away from me. You cannot stop me from being a leader. You cannot stop me from fighting and battling and having courage to address the things that need addressed. You can't stop me from coaching, teaching, or mentoring people. And you definitely can't stop me from being a good friend, because that's who I am. And I will be that till the day I pass away. My job has nothing to do with it. My worldly things have nothing to do with it. I will show up in every room, in every conversation, as the same guy with those principles, because that's who I am. And that's all I can control. That's it.
Yeah. And that's fact. I'm, speaking from experience, as long as I've known him, and events that we've done together, and conversations that we've had, and when I've needed an ear. Hell, earlier this week, I called you, didn't I?
You did, man.
I FaceTimed with you. And one of the things, Kris, that I kind of want to switch a little bit, but it starts about who you are, and I think it's important. Your whole career, your life in general, how has your faith played a part of that? Because I remember 2-3 years ago now. 3 years ago, you were baptized, and I couldn't make it up there for it, but it was watching you go through that and then share your experience with people about that was kind of I was very proud of you, for doing that. But can you talk a little, how has faith really played a role in your life over the last few years?
Oh, it is the role, Adam. It's the number one. It's front and center. So that whole journey, man, I'm so thankful for, and not in the ways that you think. It might sound crazy to somebody that maybe struggles with their faith, and that's okay. I understand. I lost my dad at 18 years old to lung cancer, and my family kind of just fell apart. About 2 years before he passed away, my parents separated. I didn't really see much of my brother. He's older. And I was kind of just moving about myself, trying to stay afloat. And then I got into the Navy, and I was like, man, I'm going to go to the military to learn how to be a man. Right. And we've heard that plenty of times. Well, I learned a lot about life and different things, but I never received the full mentorship about who I was as a man. Yeah. I learned how to be a really good team guy. Well, mediocre team guy, but that's what they make you really good at. But all the other aspects of my life, I was married. I was not a very good husband, man. I didn't know how to prioritize or work-life balance when you're gone 280 days a year. Yeah. I don't know how to do that. I didn't understand being intentional about self-sacrifice for my time or my what I wanted, or communication effectively, like none of that. I was almost killed 6 times. I ran over 2 IEDs in Afghanistan, 5-pound pressure plates that didn't go off. Can't tell you why. 2 other helicopters. I talked to both pilots, and hard landings and different things. They're like, I don't know how we didn't crash. I drowned on a dive back in 2018. And then I was in another place, and I had a AK-47 about 10 inches away from my head in a vehicle. And this guy had me dead to rights, Adam. There was nothing I could do. And he chose not to kill me. So I battled with a lot of these things, man. I didn't know God. I didn't seek him. My mom would talk about it growing up, like he's watching you. He hears you. He's going to make you pay for that one. But we never went to church. I didn't have a relationship. I didn't know how. I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't know who he was. And it took me 17 years to get to that point. 2020 to 23, I was fighting severe depression. And you know this because I've shared it on the show. And you were there to help lift me up. And I thank you for that as my friend and brother. I was really suffering, man, for 3 years. And I didn't know how to get past it. One night I'm sitting in, where was that? Fort Campbell. And we got done at like 3 a.m. And it was just a great day. I was a platoon leader. It was the best thing that was my goal. And dude, everything was firing on all cylinders that day. And anybody that's been part of any type of group where everyone's clicking and firing, and then you're just like, wow, dude, I'm so impressed. I sat there at the end of my bed, dude, and it was just like, God, thank you. If you hear me, thank you for like letting me live my dream. Like this is my childhood dream and be in this position, and it's wonderful. But sorry.
You're good, bro. Take it.
You know, the other half of me is so broken and lost, and I don't know what I'm doing. The only thing I ever wanted to have was a family and be a good husband and a great father. And I said, everything I'm doing is just not getting me there. And I just feel like abandoned, like I was cast aside. I wasn't good enough, like everything. But I'm like pouring everything into this thing. And I said, you know what? I'm just so tired. And whatever this means, just do what you want with me. And I'm just going to do it your way. 2 weeks later, I was jumping down in Arizona, and my foot found a perfect little hole on the drop zone. My foot stayed. The rest of my body kept going, and I broke my leg and tore my ACL off my femur. Done. Forced to sit still, which for anybody in the military, but especially operators, when you have to sit still for 30 days in an empty apartment with no relationship, no children, with a busted leg and you can't walk, the walls don't like to talk, man. They scream at you. They scream at you day and night. And I was teetering. Raf reached out to me and sent me a book called Tender Warrior and A Purpose-Driven Life. And I started reading those. And I went to a park where I used to get out of my apartment to read and just be outside a little bit because I was losing my mind. And I sat at this park and I read in the book about this guy named Paul. And it said, Lord, I'm done. And if you read about it, you know, he lived his life the way he did. He eventually went blind and he was just exhausted, holistically exhausted. And I was getting ready to turn the page. And I remember hearing about this God, and he punishes you and he knows what you're doing. He's going to lay the hammer. He's, you know, that sort of thing, dude. And I was like, yep, I'm about to read. This guy's going to get smashed. And I turned the page and the response was good. Now we can begin. And dude, it felt like the biggest hug just came down and wrapped around me. I burst out crying. I kept reading and crying and praying in the moment. And I got so worked up at him. I screamed at this guy. And I said, I'm sick and tired of guessing. I'm sick and tired of feeling this way. I'm sick and tired of struggling. I'm so lost and broken. And please keep in mind, like a 6'1", 225 Navy SEAL is powerless in that moment. It means nothing when you're on that type of battlefield.
Yeah.
And I just said, you show me you're real. You show me you hear me, because I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And that was a Friday. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our mutual friend, Jimmy Boggs, that we talked about, a mutual friend of his named Joe McQuiggan, who's a Navy guy over at Oceana, shows up at my door randomly. I never met this guy, but he goes, if you're a friend of Jimmy's, you're a friend of mine. Shows up and talks to me for 4 hours about life. And then it says, man, I really feel like I should invite you to church on Sunday. And I haven't been to church since 2009. And I said, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm not doing anything else. Why not? So I showed up on Sunday. I'm on crutches. I'm the only one on crutches. And the pastor, Pastor Archie, he comes out on crutches. And I'm like, because who did it, like who slipped into the 3x5 no card and selling them. And dude, I'm sitting there and he just goes on and talks to me like this message, Adam, every single day.
Directed to you, specifically you.
Directly to me. And at the end, they said, if God's moving and if you feel you want this leader, him to lead you in your life and come into your heart, like, please come up. We want to pray for you. Adam, I've been shot at. I've jumped out of planes. I've been underwater in the middle of the ocean and all that stuff. I've been scared, man. I've never been more terrified in my entire life. Oh. Like, hold it. Fear and every fiber in my body was saying, don't you dare go up there. And I said out in church, I'm scared crapless, but the other word. And my buddy Joe looks at me and he heard me and I looked at him and I said, that's why I'm going. Like, I didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't want to live like that. And I went up, dude, and I just burst into tears and I gave my heart to Christ that day. Little backstory, about a month later, I meet with the pastor up front and I said, you and I need to have a conversation. He goes, oh, I figured we did. And he goes, what do you want to know? I said, how did you come up with being on crutches? By the way, he wasn't injured. He just preached with him. And he says, that Thursday before service, I was at home with my wife taking my notes about what I was going to preach about. And this image of crutches kept flashing in my head. And he even looked at his wife. He goes, babe, I see crutches in my head. Like, does that mean something to you? And she's like, I have no idea. Like, maybe just sit and pray on it. And it kept coming to him. And he goes, literally, looks at his notes. He's like, all right, I'm done. Go on Amazon Prime and order a set of crutches for Saturday so I can preach with them on Sunday. And dude, I heard that. I almost fell down. That was the day before I challenged him. That was the day before I asked him to be real with me, to prove to me he heard me, that he was real. There was no denying that he already knew my heart. He already knew what I was going to do. And he set that up directly for me. Dude, ever since then, he has guided me. He is my leader. He is my mentor, my friend. He fights for me in battles that I need him to. Yep. And like I said at the beginning, man, what I'm doing now, he met me where I was at. He instilled those characteristics into me by demonstrating them. And you and I both know, one day we're going to show up in front of the Creator and he's going to stand there and go, I gave you all of these things. What did you do with them? Well, I only use them for me and what I want to myself. But I appreciate it. Thank you. No.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping when I show up at the pearly gates, he's standing there and just be like, Adam, is that you? Get over here, you crazy son of a...
Yeah. Yeah, man. And it's, but it should be a guide, right? Because I don't want to let him down. He gave me so much victory, but also allowed me so much defeat. And it's not just for me. It's, Melon and I want to go out and meet people where they're at and lead them and mentor them and help them fight and understand these other battlefields, and also probably make a really good friend out of it at the same time.
David Willis, good morning, brother. Brother from Homefront Sit Rep podcast. Appreciate you. I want to transition, Kris, a little bit on kind of what you just said there, kind of alluded to with you and Melon. What's next for Kris? What's next for Pushing Back Chaos with you and Melon?
Yeah. Well, number one, thank you for we wouldn't exist without you, man, without your friendship, but also your guidance throughout every single step of getting this thing set up and understanding, we've never done that before. Starting a podcast, and what it was just a space to have conversations and talk real, like we're talking about now. We didn't make any money off of it. You were gracious enough to be like, hey man, I will just help you and you guys can do this and just have your conversations. We weren't in it for the money, dude. Yeah. We weren't in it for that at the time. And it's been 6 years. Now what we're doing, I'm retiring. Melon is at a new stage in his life as well. And we've talked about it. And this is something that we want to continue to serve probably the rest of our life and understanding it. So we're turning this podcast into a small business, an LLC, Pushing Back Chaos, where we do engagements of transformational speaking, coaching and consulting, mainly focusing on those things that we've been talking about: identity, purpose, how to get out of adversity and maintain yourself, not letting the chaos destroy you, and going through that. And whether it's at the office, a sports team, a military group, your family, well, what's the common thing is that every single one of those has human beings in it. So we can be of service, because that's where we come at from. We don't come from the high horse of our previous jobs or titles. It means nothing in this grand scheme of things, man. But Kris and Melon are two guys that want to take the load and pick up that responsibility and bring people up, because Melon and I were those guys that needed it. And, you know, we talked about it this week on the episode we released. We are who we
talk about it.
Yeah. We are who we wanted to be. We just completed a 5-part series on, it's called I'd buy me a drink, right? Looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting yourself, not for being perfect, but for all of your strengths and flaws and what you've been through, but accepting yourself and knowing who you are and your identity is a beautiful thing, man. And we laid out a 5-part episode on how to get there. You know, like I talked about, how do you do it? What's it look like? What's it sound like? What are the steps? Because we needed that, you know, and that's how I know it's relevant, is because I needed it. It was the number one thing I needed when I was struggling the most, but I couldn't find it. And nobody would take the time to step in and mentor me, because why do I need to help a big, bad, tough Navy SEAL, man? How can I help him? I'm a nobody. And I would hear that all the time. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I just get written off because I'm expected to be tough.
Right.
That sucks. That's lonely. That's the truth.
Pushing Back Chaos. Find it on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your podcast, or simply go to heroesmediagroup.com, click on the podcast button, and you'll see it right there. And the episode that Kris is talking about just went live yesterday. And like he said, he did a 5-part series on I'd buy me a drink. And it's definitely one that you do not want to miss. David Gordon, I'd buy me a drink too. Yeah, we know you. We know you would. Oh, I love it. I love it. Kris, I appreciate you being here, man. This has been good. It has been long overdue, and I have Joe, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Literally have been. I've been waiting for this, to have you on this for a long time with the face and everything. And it's been good. So thank you. I want to thank you for your friendship for the last, 6+ years. It's been, longer. It just seems like a lifetime. And I'm grateful for that. Pushing Back Chaos. Check it out. So you're going to be, and you guys are doing this worldwide too. Melon's in Australia.
Melon lives in Melbourne, Australia, and he's kind of opening up to do some stuff in Australia branch, I guess. And I'm going to be kind of the US branch, and we're opening to do remote work or to travel and speak in person, or we could come online and do that sort of thing. We're pretty flexible, man. Like, we don't want to be at home every day, because you get lazy, right? But yeah, we're open, man. Like, we're open to travel and open our organizations to bring us in and talk and speak about these things and be of service in a different way than just pulling triggers, right? It's a different type of service that we want to do now, that we're very passionate and connected to.
I love it. Folks, we got to transition. Kris, we got to transition. You want to stick with me here? I'm going to do two quick stories. Some events, and then we're going to hit some what some of the people missed on some of the podcasts. We'll reiterate what you guys talked about here in just a few, if you don't mind.
Yeah, get after it.
All right. So first story up for this week. 14-year-old Arizona boy saves woman. This what is this here? What about? Heroes, right? It doesn't matter what age you are. 14-year-old Royal Calhoun was riding his bike where he spotted a woman wandering alone in 103-degree heat. She was disoriented, couldn't answer him clearly. So he stayed with her, called 911, didn't leave her side until help arrived. She turned out to be a 75-year-old grandmother with dementia. 14 years old. Well done, young man. Well done. Staying in Arizona, I'm throwing this one in there just because I found this to be somewhat kind of funny. But ASU, Arizona State University, launches content creation degree.
Interesting.
There's like the jokes write themselves. Arizona ASU now offers a Bachelor of Arts in Content Creation. I can't make this up. It's not a journalism degree with a digital elective bolted on. It's a degree built for the creator economy. It's 120 credit hours covering content strategy, storytelling, video production, social media, and brand development. Hey, listen, ASU, if you're looking for teachers, give me a call. So yeah, this is starting next month. August 20th is the first day for this class. Last story I have, this one. This is another feel-good story. USAA National Military Monument. You guys have seen me share the story earlier this week. I had the privilege to go over to Lidditz, Pennsylvania. It's Lidditz, not Lititz now. Nothing like that. It's Lidditz, Pennsylvania. All right. What? Lidditz. When you look at it, you guys are going to understand. Like, you look at some of the towns in Pennsylvania. Maybe that's another show in itself. Anyway, USA National Monument. This monument was built in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, and my good friend Sarah from Worth It Hollow did a commercial for USAA on this. But it is it's honoring the service members who have defended this great nation for the last 250 years. It's a digital one. It's going to change every, I think, 60 seconds. New names will come on. So if you look at it, it's the American flag, kind of grayed out, and then where the white would be is where all the names are gonna pop up. It's going to be in front of the Lincoln Memorial. It opens July 28th. It said in this article that it's going to run through August 23rd. I have through other contacts that it's supposed to be there until November, or until Veterans Day in November. Don't really know, but it's going to open up on July 23rd in DC. So it's going to have every name of every service member that has served over the last 250 years on it, I think. And it's digital, so it's going to be changing every 60 seconds. I think that's pretty cool. We'll probably go down to DC to check that out at some point. Where are we going to be? Hey, we're going to be traveling, right? I already said that. I'm going to be out and about. You'll see it. I'll be North Carolina, Texas here soon. When we get back, we're going to be August 21st through the 23rd, Empowered Podcasting Conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you want to come see yours truly up on stage, I'll be speaking, talking about building a community. Yes, with Shay Sparks. So come to Empowered Podcasting August 21st through the 23rd. September 22nd, there's going to be an Amazon event in Washington, D.C. Stand by. More details will come for that. Let me back up here. August 8th and 9th, we're going back to Virginia, Millburn, Virginia, down in Bath County for the TSXCS Hunter's Paradise. This is round 9, and we've got our team H&R or H&C racing. Our kids down there are going to be racing down there that we're sponsoring. Loved it. And if you haven't been down to this area, it's just beautiful country. Go out, and it's a blast. We were there. Was it back in April, I believe, was the last time we were out at Hunter's Paradise for the race. So go check that out. It's a lot of fun. What else? We got a couple more events. We've got the event, the Real Estate Cares event in Tampa, Florida, has been moved from the September 23rd to Tuesday, September 22nd. We will have more information on that coming up. And then, of course, Kris, you're familiar with this one here. September 25th and 26th is the All Heroes Welcome Party is going to be on the 25th at Angry Chair in Tampa, Florida. And then the next day, Saturday, September 26th, West Shore Yacht Club for the All Heroes Open Fishing Tournament. And if you're interested in this, go to teamauto.org. And they are, you got to RSVP by August 1st. But this is we mentioned our friend Jimmy Boggs earlier in the show, and this is his event, Team Auto. The funds go to promote their Veterans Closet, and this is just a great organization doing great stuff. And we love everybody over at Team Auto. So hopefully we'll see you guys down there. Joe Stojic, what's up, brother? Appreciate you. New York anytime soon, perhaps. I go to New York. Depends. Are you talking like New York City or over in Buffalo where you're at? Buffalo? I'd love to. I'd love to get over there. I've never been. We've got a couple minutes here. We're going to listen. Go check out all the shows. HeroesMediaGroup.com. We've got some new shows up. Dog Takes Ownership, a newer show. They did some new content this week. From the Ashes Radio, our buddy Rob and his crew over there. Go check them out. 4 Years a Slave. He is on a comedy tour right now. So go check him out. He's got some new stuff coming. Stay tuned for that. The Blue Line Voice, Blood, Sand, and Smoke. This week's episode, he spoke with Jen Benjamin. She was a vice chick. That's what it says. From Las Vegas Metro PD. And she's one of the rarest operators in policing. She started it with a $10 prostitution bust on Las Vegas Boulevard and worked her way up into deep undercover operations that most cops wouldn't touch. Really cool episode. Blue Line Voice, Blood, Sand, and Smoke. Again, guys, go check out all the episodes that you missed. We got Double S podcast is out. Homefront Sit Rep podcast. Misfit Nation did a couple episodes this week. The Arms Room show. They were talking about how the sun can kill you. Heat injuries. Pay attention to that one. We also had Vet SOS. They've got several episodes that they do. Keep It Spiritually Simple with Sandra McEllis. It's got some new content out. Senior Living Guide. Those of you that are on here, pay attention, because there's a lot of you that are watching live right now that need to listen to this episode. This week they explore taboos around incontinence. What does that mean? Look it up. I'm not going to say it today, but it's important. And it's certainly something that can be embarrassing, but it happens. It's eventually going to happen to all of us. I'm 48 years old. Hell, it happens to me now. I'll say it. So it's an issue. Go check it out. Senior Living Guide. .com. Great episode. We got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project every Sunday night. Great episodes. Other Side of the Firewall. New stuff out. And then, of course, Pushing Back Chaos. New episode went live yesterday. Kris was talking a little bit about it again. And Kris, why don't you just mention it again? What did you guys talk about this week?
Yeah, it was just part 5 of that 5-part series about clean relationships. So the first 4 episodes were really talking about the step-by-step, the process of doing an internal reflection exercise, like going through every, the full ledger. We did an episode, it's called The Full Ledger. Like if this was you, this was your life, you're not skipping any sentences, any words, any pages. Like you're going to take full inventory, and then this is what you do with it. And then part 5 was really talking about the whole outcome was clean relationships and being able to achieve and get to that point of like, this is who I really wanted to be. This is a healthy version, a connected version, a present version. And that's what that final episode was about.
Love it. I love it. Also want to give a shout out to our community partners. We have Stas Fab. You can find them on Instagram, Prospect Hill Flag Company, HMG Beverage, our sister company. My Tax Fella, Forget Genetics, veteran-owned, family-run. Love them. Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle, Green Valley's Hunter Paradise as well. Make sure you guys check this out. Ken says he feels judged. Sorry, Ken. Was I directing it towards a certain group of people? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Listen, that's all the time that we have this week, folks. Kris, brother, thank you again so much for sharing your story with everybody here this morning, man. I certainly appreciate you. I love you. And I'm very, very much looking forward to the next chapter of your life.
Well, dude, thank you for being a massive part of it. And the best thing, like I said, through all of this growth and what we've done, the best part is I got to make a really good friend out of it, and it's become family. So thank you for all that you do, for all the other veterans on this in this community, and helping with transition and identity and purpose and their passion. You are the guy to like really help out with all of that. You've done it for me. And man, it's only growing, and like we talked about, it's on the up for you, and I'm very proud of you and what you've done as well. So.
Thank you. Well, we're just getting started. So, folks, don't forget this weekend, get outside. The weather's nice. Get outside. Don't get the 45-degree syndrome. Watch what you consume. Shut the computer off. Get out. Go spend time with family. Go do something productive this weekend. We'll see you guys next week. God bless you. God bless America. I love you all. Take care.